Hi again, wrestling fans. Welcome to another compelling episode, we hope, of AIWF Ringside Wrestling. I am Mad Matt Carter, being joined as always by Brian and Reagan Danzig. We're all Hall of Famers. And good to have you along, wherever you may be watching, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're seeing this. We're glad you are with us. Uh, so Rick Diesel is not with us, but I did see an interesting post on the AIWF Mid Atlantic Wrestling site. And Brian Reagan, you guys will have to enlighten me because I was not at the November 16th show in Mount Airy. But it says here the AIWF Mid Atlantic has reached out to Kevin Phoenix about coming to Ivanhoe on February 1st, but we have not heard back from him. The invitation stands, and we would like for him to address the things that happened in Mount Airy on November 16th, 2024. There's a poster for the Ivanhoe show on February 1st with a QR code. Boy, we are moving into the
We're
21st century.
getting technologically advanced with our Hotmail email.
Yeah, yeah. So talk to me and the fans that don't know about what happened on November 16 and why we need to hear from Kevin Phoenix.
Well, on he and Jackson Zane had a match for the TV World Title, and then previously, Kevin Phoenix after the match with the Soul Taker and Justin Flash, um, somebody, Kevin Phoenix was put in the casket, and somebody drove off, and we didn't hear from Kevin for weeks. And then a video came out that was rather disturbing of him escaping someplace, and then it looked like in the background that he'd been held hostage by Jackson Zane. So Jackson Zane and he had we didn't think they would have a match but Kevin came out and said that he would have the match, and so just Jackson Zane beat him for the title. So Jackson Zane now has that title. But at the end, an unconscious Kevin Phoenix was put over Jackson Zane's shoulder, and Jackson Zane walked out of the building with him. And since then, we had not heard from him in a while. And then last week, he posted that he might be going to Europe to wrestle, or England to wrestle.
Yeah.
And so that was the first thing we'd heard from him or about him, and I mean since the 16th. So Rick Diesel reached out to him, I guess, and invited him to the Ivanhoe to maybe clear up the situation or tell us what happened, or I don't know. So we'll see what he has to say.
Yeah, it seems like risky business if you're Jackson Sane to kidnap Kevin Phoenix. I'd say you better keep him tied up good, or because you know how he is. I mean, Jezebeth is not going to be safe, but she does have some pretty dangerous pets. You could probably keep him at bay, but we'll see what happens. That's certainly very interesting. So we know Kevin is not in custody anymore because he's wrestling in Europe, but well, maybe we find out on February 1 what's going on in Ivanhoe. So be sure you join us for that. That'll kick off our season. So all you folks that join us from Galax and Hillsville and stuff, Ivanhoe's not much, about the same distance, I think Rick Diesel said, is a drive from Ivanhoe to Ivanhoe from Galax and Hillsville. So as it is to Mount Airy. He said it's about the same. So hey,
Yes.
so come on up. We'd love to
And
see you there.
I think Rick Diesel also said that, and I might, we may need to remind him because he's got an old man brain, to put up the directions to Ivanhoe, because sometimes the GPS, like I think I've said a bunch, takes you a weird way sometimes and doesn't take you the most efficient way. So we need to remind him to put that up. So it's really easy, like from the exit at Fort Chiswell,
Yeah.
and then there's just a few turns and stuff. So we'll make sure to try to get the directions up. But it's a fun place to go. I've been a couple of times, and it's a fun place to go. It's fun to see, for them to run with ICW. So it should be good. I'm excited. I'm hoping I get to make it. So
Cool beans. All right. I don't know if I'm going to be. That's no, I can't make it. That's Royal Rumble night, and I've got people coming in from Arizona. We are going to the Bush Clash. I don't know if it's going to be Bush Clash. It might be Cookout Clash. I don't know. It's the NASCAR Clash at Bowman Gray Stadium this year,
Oh,
and that is going to be insane. The regular cars that race at Bowman Gray barely can get around there. You have to knock people out of the way to get around.
yeah, it's very
That's why they
pretty
call it the
interesting.
madhouse, and so
Yeah,
that's
because for the people that don't know, it's around a football field.
yeah.
So
Once
it's
it's
pretty much a track, like you would see at a high school, a track that goes around the football field, but
yeah,
cars are on it. So
it's
it's an
insane.
interesting place. You
Yeah.
always see a fight there. Like that's the thing. Somebody always gets in a fist fight. So
Yeah, we're talking about the competitors, not the
yeah,
crowd. But
yeah.
sometimes it happens in the crowd too.
But
Uh
it's fun to go. I've not seen what like the NASCAR stuff, but the stock cars that they've done there. It's very interesting place
yeah.
to be. So that should be fun.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, the tickets were not fun, the price point wise, but it's the inaugural event. Probably won't go back next year. So, and we wanted to make a big deal, and some of my nephew's flying in from Arizona with his girlfriend, so it'll be a lot of fun. So I won't be there, but hopefully Brian and Reagan will be there to cover it. And also, we got a new show on the AIWF network that Rick Diesel and Reagan are involved with. Reagan, you want to tell us about that?
So what we're going to be doing is when the I've gotten ready to call it the Cyber Zone. When the episode drops on Tuesday, you'll have the opportunity to watch it. And then what we're going to start doing is we're going to do like a post show about that show on Wednesday.
Mhm.
So we'll be discussing what happened that in that show. We'll just be discussing, um, sometimes discussing. He threw a lot of insults to me when we did it Wednesday,
Mm.
and then talk about what's going on. And so it's not live; it is recorded. We're looking at about 30 minutes of just us discussing what's going on.
Hmm.
We're starting, with what the like with the Kevin Phoenix thing, like what's going on with Kevin Phoenix, and like so we're hoping to start that off and be entertaining about it. And we put up our first one, so we're excited to do it. I'm Like I said, Rick Diesel was a little mean to me, so kind of insulted me a few times about baking cookies, even though I don't bake cookies. So if you want to see Rick Diesel be mean to me or me try to, we'll see. But it was fun, and I'm hoping to continue it. So
It's not hard to bake cookies. You just follow the direction on the package. You
that's
scoop
what I
out
agree. I
some.
don't. Yeah, you
Uh,
just pop them out and put them on a thing and turn on the oven. So
well, yeah, it's funny. Kind of side conversation I was having with Jinky earlier. I came back from Food Lion this morning. We had tasks to do. We had grocery shopping and finally get down the Christmas decorations. So she took down the Christmas decorations. Thank you, God. And I went to Food Line unsupervised, which is always fun because you never know what I'm going to bring back. And so and so uh, I got a coupon that said save $10 off your next grocery bill by buying $30 of qualifying Nestle items. And I thought the only thing I buy that Nestle makes is the Toll House cookies.
they make water.
Huh?
They make water.
Oh yeah, that's right. I kind of
But
got
yeah, but like what would you buy? $30 worth of cookies?
that's a
Nestle has a bunch of different products. It's like might not be the Nestle, that may not be the brand, but if you look on the back, they're
right.
the parent company.
But
But again, I mean, this is still, you would with the things that they sell. I don't know that I would probably have a hard time coming up with $30
Yeah, no
worth
kidding.
of Nestle products, with the coffee, the cookies, and whatever other odds and ends things that they have. And plus, I don't know if you would end up even saving any money by
No,
buying the name brand Nestle product.
no kidding. I mean, like how much carnation do you really need for your
yeah,
coffee, right?
apparently they own Purina. The
Oh, so you could just buy some dog food.
Yeah, I guess Nestle Purina. I guess it depends on how like specific they were. Like, does it have to say Nestle on the product? That's interesting.
Well, I mean, it probably does somewhere on there, but
that's right. They do. There's a dog food. I don't want to call it a dog food store. It's a hardware store, but they have Purina products because they have the little checkerboard on outside the next to the Cabarrus Arena. If you ever come down here and go to an event, you're going to see the Purina logo. And so, anyway, all right. Speaking of events at arenas, Reagan, I'll tell you what, boy, you kept your word since AEW moved to Max. You have tried to consume that product, and I know you did again this week. So
I did.
Tell us how bad AEW was.
Well, it wasn't bad. It was, there were some matches that weren't bad. They weren't particularly
good,
like exciting, but like they were fine. The biggest controversy from that show was the MJF Jeff Jarrett promo, where they threw around a lot of insults based on mothers and wives. MJF did say something really funny. He said, Jeff Jarrett's the person that you see before your favorite wrestling company dies.
You're the pro wrestling Grim Reaper.
And I thought it was really good. It went on way too long.
Right. It was good, but too long.
Too long.
Okay.
Okay. And then Jeff Jarrett's, it seemed like to me that MJF did his promo and then Jeff Jarrett was like, I got to say a bunch of stuff now. That's the way it came off. But it made the internet mad because they said it insulted women because MJF was talking about that he was going to take Karen Jarrett and then, and then it was going to, Jeff Jarrett was going to taste his balls at Olympic gold medalist balls. So you'll know what it take. Like, I don't remember how it was, but the last part is an Olympic gold medalist balls. So, and nobody knows Karen Jarrett used to be married to Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
So, but it was good. Went on too long. The thing is I can't tell you, I can't remember any of the matches. Like when they're really, well, I'll tell you this, the women's gauntlet match for the, who would go against Mariah May in wherever their show is overseas, their big show, was really good. Very good. And Toni Storm, won that. And if you haven't watched Toni Storm wrestle, you need to watch Toni Storm wrestle. Don't watch the one where she wrestled Saraya or Paige, because that match was trash, but that was trash because of Paige. And then, so I'm excited about that one. I think I've heard that their pay-per-views you're going to have to pay for them. And still nobody knows if it's discounted or not. Seems like by now, I mean, they're getting ready to have one in February, aren't they?
March 9th, I'm sure.
March
I just
9th.
pulled it up. Yeah.
They still got time to work it out.
Maybe they're trying to figure out what they're going to do. But not a bad show, but not memorable.
Mm-hmm.
But and then there was another promo that went on too long. I'll tell you what the best thing in the world is right there. Like Ricochet and Swerve Strickland, that storyline is so good. So Ricochet has been coming out and attacking Swerve Strickland, and he attacked him with scissors the week before during the match, and just Ricochet's doing some of the best work I've ever seen him do. So I'm very excited about the Swerve Strickland Ricochet match, because that should be really good.
And he's not getting a good reaction from the fans, though, is what I've been hearing. I hadn't watched to see, but I hear they're kind of like just kind of sitting on their hands when he's out there.
No, that's absolutely not true.
Oh, okay.
The first couple of times, I think. I'll go ahead.
Yeah, I think that was his initial response, but I think this heel turn and having him go against one of their most popular guys, the crowd has really turned on him in a way where they're now engaging him and booing him, and they're not indifferent to it. They like, as soon as he comes out, the crowd is immediately on him.
And he's so much better at heel promos. Like, his baby promos were always really rough, but this heel, because he has not. I did not watch him in WWE, but I'm pretty sure he wasn't heel there either. And I think he's such a baby face that it's like they tried to keep him like baby or tweener, but like this heel run is fun to watch.
Good. I'm
Therefore,
glad
I'm
to
like,
hear it.
yeah,
I always
that was,
liked Ricochet. I mean, he didn't say much when he was in WWE, but his matches were, that match he had with Logan Paul, man, where they did all that high flying stuff was fantastic.
yeah, it was.
I don't want to see one of those every pay-per-view, but like once a year is great, But see, I'm partial because I don't like the flippity do style. Usually I'll get up and walk away if a match starts doing that. But anyway, that's good. Have you been able to consume like Collision or any of
I
that stuff?
have.
Okay.
I watched it last week too, but that's, as everybody on this show knows, I have no memory. I think we talked about it though last weekend. I don't know. But yeah, so I'll be watching it this afternoon. I'll probably be watching it. Oh, today's Sunday. I'll probably watch it this afternoon.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched Raw. I watched Raw because it's easy to watch now. And I watched, we disagree on this, but I tuned in because I was super excited to see Penta versus Chad Gable. And I thought it went very well. The internet thinks went very well, except for the AEW people. But there were some issues. I don't think he's used to the ropes being rope,
yeah,
and not cable.
That's what Cornette said too.
Yeah, yeah, and that's a big.
Well, that and the ring is bigger too.
Yeah,
it's 20.
It's a 20-foot ring versus 18, and so he's going to have to make some adjustments. But yeah, overall, I think he did well, and he really won that crowd over.
He did, and that.
Whoa, pump the brakes here because I got to ask something to help out the normal wrestling fans. Now, when we talk about how big a ring is, you measure it from ring post to ring post diagonally, right? Okay, all right. So, does that extra 2 feet? Because I've heard this discussed on other podcasts, but you guys know because you wrestle, both of you. Does that extra 2 feet make a difference? Do you have to take more? I would guess you'd have to take at least one step when you get thrown to the ropes. So kind of break that down for the wrestling fans, like why that extra 2 feet could throw you off.
Oh yeah. You have to take more steps if you're coming off the top rope. If you have somebody in the middle of the ring, you have to jump farther. Because to me, I had always heard that 18 feet was the standard. That was a standard size ring. WWE had a big ring that was 20. That was 18. That was 20, and then WCW had a 16. They had a 16 feet ring, and so their ring was actually smaller than the average sized ring. But yeah, it does make a big difference. Going from one size ring to another. But in Mexico, I'm not sure what their standard size ring is. But again, if he's been wrestling in AEW for a few years, and again, I'm sure they use steel cables. I think WWE is like
those are real. They use real ropes
because you can see at one turnbuckle where it's all bunched up there. It's where they've keep pulling it and tightening the ropes that way. Whereas most companies have moved to the steel cable.
Yeah, well, the steel cables are just more durable. That's why we use them. We used real ropes for a while in AIWF Mid-Atlantic for many years. And then, then we went back to recently and I'll say recently, probably in the last 5-6 years have gone back to steel cables, and everybody seems to like the steel cables better. And they're more durable. They don't break as often. And, we had like in 2015 or 2016, we were doing the Crazy 8 tournament in Mount Airy. It was one of the last times we did it in Mount Airy because people just do not like tournaments. And we learned that the hard way and stopped doing it. We had the ropes break uh one night, and Darren had to come out and fix them, and Drew Game actually had to get in the ring, may rest in peace, and talk to the fans and kind of cut a promo to distract them while the ropes got repaired. And I think that in Rick Diesel's mind that night, he was like, we're going back to cables.
Mhm.
If these things break again, I'm going back to cables. And they eventually did, and we went back. So
Yeah, and cables do break. I mean, we've had steel cables break on us at least twice that I can think of,
mhm,
but it's much more rare
Mhm.
yeah.
to have steel cables break than ropes.
Because I was going to go back with like running the ropes and in a ring. Your muscle memory, because it's 3 steps, right? Three big
Mhm.
steps. It's like 3 steps, and then you turn. So you have muscle memory. So it's just automatically, you don't even think about it. And then when it's a 20-foot ring, you have to add probably that, at least that extra step, and your body is not used to it. Because, a lot of things you do are just automatic.
Hmm.
Like you might know in the dark room where to walk to get to the bathroom. So that's kind of a muscle memory type thing. So you think about, you're used to doing those 3 steps, and you have to add that extra one. You have to really think about that. And I could see that happening and stuff. But I think his promo, was like the
All right, wait,
world
wait,
just,
wait, wait. Let me
oh,
get to that.
damn it.
Uh, yeah, all right. So here's a couple of things I need to qualify because I was texting Reagan while I was watching it, and I have made the adjustment on Netflix to just watch Raw on Tuesday because by the time I'll get to it on Tuesday, they've chopped out the commercials. So, and that's what I want because I pay a lot for Netflix and I don't
Mm-hmm.
want to watch fucking ads. Thank you, streaming, for spoiling me. I mean, like, I get up, commercials will run me off quicker than anything now. And I will hand you more money to make them go away. So because you see ads everywhere. You pick up your phone, there's ads. I'm a NASCAR fan. That's ads going around in circles. I mean, they're just everywhere, and it it's enough to make you insane. But I want to qualify this by usually when I'm watching wrestling on Tuesday night, watching Raw, I'm having a cocktail. This past Tuesday was no different. So I may have not been viewing that match through the clearest lens, and plus I was getting up a lot because like it was just I was just like, they get clunky or some move would happen that I didn't like, and I'd get up and I'd go outside and smoke and come back inside, and I wouldn't pause the match. So I saw the clunky parts and didn't. I saw the finish, which was great. That Canadian Destroyer has never been executed or looked better than it did in that match. It looked like it.
No.
If Chad Gable's neck was not solid muscle, it looked like it would have paralyzed him. But you know what? It was executed in a manner that I was not in the least worried about his safety. And I cannot say that on the independents. I cannot
Hmm.
say it. I wish Rick Diesel would ban that move from AIWF Mid Atlantic along with pile drivers and all of the other shit. But, you know, uh, Reagan, that's something for you to look into. You got a little clout around there. Maybe you can pitch that to
We'll see.
the rules
I might make
committee.
some enemies.
I've been advocating for the pile driver to be banned in AIWF Mid Atlantic for years, and and I think Rick Diesel, because it's like this is where people break in. This is entry level independent wrestling, right? We're not what we would consider a super indie, if those even exist anymore. But so you don't want to limit people. They need to learn. They need to learn every scenario. But pile drivers just scare the hell out of me, and that's what the Canadian Destroyer is. It's just jumping pile driver, basically.
Mhm.
And uh, yeah, it scares the bejesus out of me. But it looked great, and that finish was awesome. And let me just comment: I'm gonna let y'all go on the promo, but the promo was great because WWE is so smart about where they do things. Like the live audience is so important. They were in California in San Jose, which is in Northern California, I believe, around San Francisco. It's in that area, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can do a map check and correct me if I'm wrong, but it's in that general area. Heavy Latino population, heavy Asian population. And if you know me, I like brown girls, so it's my kind of town. So, anyway,
No, San Jose is closer to the border.
Oh, is it? So
Yes.
it's down southern, like way southern California, like
Yeah.
San
It's like
Diego.
it's near Santa Cruz. It's like Santa Cruz is the lowest tip, and then San Jose is like the next like city up.
So I thought San Diego was the border city in California.
Hmm,
See, I don't know anything about California
I
geography.
don't
I've
know. Now I'm looking at a
been there
map.
twice, but no, actually,
I
I've
don't
been there.
see.
Can't remember how many times I've been
I
there.
don't know. I can't. It looks like to me that San Jose and then Santa Cruz is the lowest. I'm on Google Earth, so
We'll stay here.
where you're here's your history, your geography lesson.
Well,
Anyway, they were in
okay,
a
hang
very
on.
heavily Hispanic and Asian community. Yes.
Yes, and like here, let's take a look. Let's take a closer look. Uh, all right, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. San Diego. Yeah. There we go. San Diego
See, there's San Jose
is
right
right
there.
next to near Tijuana. Did a little time in Tijuana. Did a little training in Tijuana myself.
But see, here's San Jose, but that's up in near San Francisco. See, there's San Francisco, Northern California, right here.
Right. Right. Okay. Yeah. I see now.
Los
Daggone it.
Angeles is down here.
Yes, my mistake. I'm bad at. The one thing I'm terrible at is geography and looking at a map.
Yeah, I love maps. I still carry a road atlas in the car.
Wow. Yeah, I'm
Uh,
looking now.
uh,
Sorry about that. There's my misinformation for the day. But look, we had misinformation, and what did we do?
yeah, we
We
looked it
quickly
up.
did a
Trying to.
search and found it. So
Hey, there's Fremont. Do y'all know what that's famous for?
no.
That's where the Hell's Angels killed that guy at a Rolling Stones concert back
Oh,
in the
Oh
'60s.
yeah.
I've been watching. That's off wrestling. Never mind. Well, it's a Hell's Angel story about California, but it's about a Bigfoot show I'm watching on Hulu called Sasquatch, and
Yeah.
it's about this murder on a marijuana farm that the investigative journalist he was there, and they said it was a Sasquatch ripped three people that were working, three Mexican nationals that were working in marijuana plants in '93
Hmm.
up in the Redwood area of California, and the and investigating whether or not that was a Sasquatch murder or a murder by the Hell's Angels. Very interesting. So
Mm.
there's
I
my
know
plug.
this. I will say this about the Hells Angels. I have not had much interaction with them, but I have seen them ride in groups like pass me on the highway, and they pilot motorcycles like Navy and Air Force men fly fighter jets. It is a thing of beauty to see them because they ride so hard through traffic and they weave seamlessly in and out of traffic because they're going faster than everybody else. But it's just incredible. They stay in this tight formation, whatever, if it's five of them, it's 18 of them, they stay in this formation and they move. It's like a gazelle, just, I mean, it looks effortless. And it's just like to be that skilled, to be that dedicated to riding a motorcycle and riding it that way. I just, I got to give them a thumbs up, man. It's a pretty fucking cool thing to see. So, but yeah. So let's see here. We were talking about wrestling in San Jose, perfect place to do this. The promo, his wife, his little girl crying at ringside. Daddy finally got his dream job. Just but Michael Cole did categorize it correctly when he came out. He said, "It's the worst kept secret in our business. Here's
Yeah.
Venta." I thought that was funny.
Yeah.
And it's
So,
just he emoted. I didn't. I could pick up a couple of words, but like it didn't even matter because the emotion was just like Bubba Ray and who's the person that it's the other person with Bubba Ray Dudley on that. I don't know his name, but just talking about like he didn't understand, but you could just see it, and he's in a mask, and you could just see it in his eyes, and you could see it when he talked, and it was such an emotional and like it was one of the best I've seen. It was great. You didn't even have to know what he said. So
Yeah. And again, I think Tony Khan made a mistake by not letting Ray Phoenix go with him because they're going to get all the attention from his debut. And then a little way down the road, they're going to get another big pop from the introduction of his brother Ray Phoenix.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now,
So-
I've seen Ray wrestle more than Penta, and
Yeah.
Ray is good, man.
Yes.
Mhm.
So-
yeah,
That is
Ray,
good.
Ray is more of the amazing high flyer. Like can just do like some of the things he does, like that thing where he'll be balancing on the top rope, and then he'll jump down and bounce off of the second rope, back up to the top rope, and then jump off. It's like that's
It's
amazing.
like it's like he defies gravity.
Mhm.
And he does do flippy stuff, but he's one of those ones that the flippy stuff like looks intense, whereas the Will Ospreay flippy stuff looks like a dance. So
Yes, there you go.
it's a fine line between this lucha style and whatever the hell Will Ospreay does. Like
Mhm.
like lucha style, they do those things, but they see there's more impact. There's more like, I don't know. I guess impact is the best way to say it because
and they do the flip, but it doesn't look perfect.
Mhm.
It's like they don't. It doesn't look. Yeah, it doesn't look as choreographed because it doesn't look perfect, but it still looks amazing.
Do you think that because it's kind of been reported that behind the scenes that the wrestlers kind of pretty much do whatever the hell they want in AEW, do you think that with the right producing and because in WWE old timers help wrestlers prepare
Mhm.
for their matches? You know, it's a long time tradition. It's been going on since McMahon Jr. first took over, and it was probably going on before that. But do you think that like, some of the stuff, like him emoting and making faces and all that kind of stuff, it was a little over the top? For lack of a better word, do you think they're going to be able to easily beat out the AEW bad habits out of him and
I,
get him on board?
I don't think he has. I mean,
There's
I don't
just a
understand what
few,
he's
mind you. Like when he
like.
takes these long pauses, like he's got Chad Gable compromised, and he takes a long pause to like look in the camera and then he, will run and do the next move.
You have to think it's not AEW. He's used to. I mean, he did a lot of work with Lucha Underground,
Oh.
but I don't think he has any more of that than I've seen in some of the women. I mean, like other wrestlers in WWE making faces and stuff like. I mean, I don't know. I didn't notice any of that, so I can't really say for certain. I think he'll have a really good. I think he'll be able to do storylines because all Lucha Underground was stories and storylines and things like that. So I'm excited to see that and stuff. So I think it's just him. I mean, yeah, you're going to have to get used to the style of like not only the wrestling style and the ring and like things like that with WWE. You're going to have to learn how to do the different type of storytelling. Because I'm not sure he was somebody, and I don't know for certain. Like you can see that some people are just taking complete advantage of the loosey goosey attitude of AEW's backstage. So, but I'm excited to see what he does. I hope they use him appropriately because we've seen people come in and not be used appropriately, but we'll see. He seems happy to be there. His family seems happy. It's really nice to see like how grateful and excited he is to be in the WWE now. And you don't always see that. Yeah.
That, and from what I've been hearing, backstage was happy with both the match and the promo.
Good. I'm glad to hear that.
So I think that he will. I mean, anytime you go to a new promotion, especially one as regimented as the WWE, which they have to be, they're a billion-dollar corporation,
publicly traded.
Right. They're going to there's going to be adjustments that you're going to have to make in your style. But the fact that they brought him immediately to the main roster, I think that shows that they trust him and that they think they can they can make this work and make a lot of money off of him, and he can make a lot of money
Mm.
there.
They
And I
said
think it's
that wait a second. They said his T-shirts and stuff were already up on WWE Shop that afternoon and started selling like freaking hotcakes. Like he's one of the hottest merch people in WWE right now, along with CM Punk and all the other people that left AEW.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, that look he has is so cool. I mean,
Mhm.
even if you'd never seen him wrestle before, you're like, that's a cool looking shirt. I just want to own that shirt.
He looks like
I've
the
never,
Predator, doesn't he? I mean, does that
Yeah.
is that what y'all see? I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
Because it's also smart because now that they're having a more world wide reach,
Hard for
it's
us
good.
Southerners to say that type of things,
Yes.
folks.
That it's going to be nice because if they have somebody who is from Mexico, like now, if they push him, the market in the Spanish speaking countries, I mean, that's something good to have.
Mhm.
Um, the oh, man, what was I gonna say? I already. Oh, what I found interesting is stereotypically people think that WWE wrestlers don't watch anything but WWE, and I think his debut has proved that wrong.
No, yeah, I mean, now he had people in the. I heard that there was people on social media that are still in AEW congratulating him,
They
telling him great
were
match.
that were
I wonder if
that
it
were.
sticks in Tony Khan's crawl. I just wonder. I mean, I don't know, but anyway, I just AEW, and I have to admit this: when somebody comes to WWE from AEW, I will admit that I'm going to be biased and probably be a little more critical of them than I would just be somebody coming up from NXT. Of course, I'm pretty hard on them when they come to the main roster too. And just as a fan, not to say that I could do anything better than them because I can't. I'm sitting here on my ass talking about them, right? So, yes, these are world class, talented people. But when I go to the WWF, I expect a WWE. I expect to see the absolute best in the world.
Mhm.
At professional wrestling, and even during McMahon's last years, even though some of those kind of storylines were kind of messed up and kind of weird, the action inside the ropes is always has always been going back to the 90s, it's always been top notch. I mean, you just don't see any better. I don't think anybody disagree with that. And I'm just kind of disappointed that AEW came out and we thought, man, this is going to be an alternate brand. There's going to be more better. And it's good that they're getting all this money, all this TV money. And it's just like, I don't know, the inmates are running the asylum, it seems a
Mhm.
lot. And it's
mm,
Yeah, and
disappointing.
they did have their show in a better place this past week. They were in some kind of music venue,
Mhm.
and it was a smaller venue, and it was. I mean, there were
Was
still
it
some
Daly's
people.
place down in Jacksonville? Was it Daly's
No,
place?
no,
Oh,
they
okay.
were in. Oh man, where were they? They're going to be in Daly's place this upcoming week, but wherever they were this past week, maybe I don't remember.
Yeah.
It was a smaller place. It looked great. It looked filled up on both sides. Like it was a fantastic arena for them.
Good.
And I think if they were to start doing that, smaller arenas, I think people
Was
would
that a
stop
cat?
focus. Huh?
Was that a
No, that was
cat?
actually me. I
Oh,
hit it. We have the worst. Our thing is on a TV tray, and it's the worst one in the world.
no.
But yeah, so it looked so much better in a smaller arena.
Good. Well, real quick, let's pause in the conversation because I need to do some reads here. I have not updated the slides, so I'm just going to tell you about Tees Creations. They have custom T-shirts, uh, tumbler cups, custom T-shirts, sweatshirts, hoodies. They can make just about anything you want to. They're at teescreations22.com. Tees Creations by Allied Apparel on Facebook. Their TikTok died this morning along with everybody else's, but they're also available on Shopify. So if you want a good custom made stuff for a little league baseball team, family reunion, any type of activity, reach out to them, teescreations22.com, or you can find them on Facebook and on Shopify. Now, I do want to show you some pictures of Big D's grill. I got those. Let me get those up for you here because that's some good food. It's a food truck, a newer food truck that operates in the Mount Airy area. and he sells Philly steaks, mini donuts. I mean, you can see the stuff here. And I think I've got somebody. I think he sent me some new pictures. Um, let's see if I can get. Yeah, there's some better chicken wings, Philly cheesesteak. Now these are a little burnt on the edges, but he was making some of this stuff testing and sent me pictures really quick. But he makes authentic Philly cheesesteaks. I mean, guy was born in the Northeast, so he knows Philly steaks and good hamburgers and hot dogs, chicken wings, and all of the stuff you see there. You got mini donut, all kinds of different flavors of mini donuts now. It's absolutely insane. Big D's Grill. Look for them on Facebook. They'll post where they're going to be located. And, right now it's kind of slow for the food truck business because it's wintertime. I mean, not many people eat out of food trucks. So that food truck that operates at this gas station down here on the corner in Concord seems to be doing good. They're out there every day. So, as far as festivals, though, not many really this time of year. So be sure to check them out. And also, branch management. They can do yard cleanup for you, even during the winter. You got debris and stuff. If you need anything cleaned up, done around the house, gutter cleaning, any type of general contracting, you can call them at 336-648-2487. That's 336-648-2487. And they'll be glad to help you out. And we'll save teas, treats, and home for wayward villains, secondhand heroes till later on.
And Tease Treat or Tease Creations on their Facebook put up a link for their YouTube page, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. She started a YouTube page.
And I think she also said that she's going to start doing live on Facebook posts about, the orders and things. So I would just suggest, since don't know what's going on with TikTok, to look at any small business that use TikTok. Any small business that go find out where they're going to be now and subscribe to them.
Most of them are going to move over to Instagram. I feel like it's the most similar type service, I think. But we'll see. But I congratulate her. Good luck on your YouTube channel, Trista. And we'll talk about that more when we do your ad read. So we're getting ready to get back going in the independent scene in Ivanhoe, starting up in February. Wow, February wrestling. And we start up again in March with the anniversary show in Mount Airy, which is a big 2-night deal. There'll be a lot of people coming in from all over the country that the folks in Mount Airy don't normally get to see wrestle there on a regular basis. All your Mid-Atlantic favorites will be there too, but it's always a big 2-day love fest. I usually go on Saturday, but we all got shoot jobs, man. They ain't no money in wrestling at this level. You do it because you love it. And that handshake and a hot dog thing, is pretty accurate, except you just drop the hot dog. So it's a good chance for you to come out and see some people you don't normally get to see wrestle on that show. And hopefully we can wrangle Matt Classic to come on here in a couple of weeks and run down the lineup. I'm sure he's still working on getting it put together, but we'll just have to get him to, instead of starting with the main event and going down the card, we need to get him to start with the prelims and work his way up to the main event this time.
I wish I knew the name. I do know that Buddy Flowers will be there taking on someone else. So Buddy Flowers is going to be there. I saw that match announcement. I should have paid attention to the name. That's my fault. So I do know that he will be there. And I do also know, I think that Buddy said on a post that he, that is going to be, you'll see him there, but he's not going to be at a lot of the shows this year. So if you want to see Buddy Flowers, you need to come in March. Is it this guy? No.
Well, Buddy is trying to branch out and, expand his horizons and wrestle in different states. I think he got licensed in Virginia and in South Carolina. So, but that's part of it,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens, man. They come here, they get their start, they get their, find out who they are, and then they move on, just like
Right.
JAC. I mean,
And he has now made his name in the North Carolina area. He now needs to make a name for himself in Virginia, South Carolina, and get more uh, of a fan base. And that's what you do.
Okay, he's taken on a international star, Paolo Terrasi.
oh wow,
Yeah.
okay, that'll
So
be interesting.
yeah, so that's what I saw on Matt Classics a website, so our Facebook page. So
Okay, cool. Well, good luck to Buddy as he branches out. This is the same thing that happened with JAC and Clara. They were here for a while, cut their teeth here, got some experience, they moved on. We get to see them every now and then. Of course, JAC, if he keeps going into bars and uh, needling football fans during playoff season, I know he can defend himself, but you don't want to be on the business end of a knife. So I'll just caution you, my friend, be careful doing that. I know you think it's fun, and you're not. Poor Clara was not with him, but just be careful, man. I just wanted to share that. But Justin Flash is still the AIWF Mid Atlantic champion. He's getting, let's see, year and a half now.
holy moly!
Yeah, his title reign's up to a year and a half now. And I thought I like that because the Mid Atlantic Championship is, even when it was the AIWF World Championship, sometimes it would switch more frequently. But like the last few years, it's like people get it and they are able to hold on to it and bring stability to it. And I think that's important. Now, I don't want every title like that. Like some of the like TV and the TV title is kind of designed to switch more often because it's defended every time the person that has it
Right.
wrestles. But like the tag titles, the Mid Atlantic Championship, I kind of like it when it stays on the same guy for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Well, and Justin Flash, I mean, it just shows what a resilient, great wrestler he is because he has been up against some monsters this past year,
Mm-hmm.
and he has been able to pull it out every single time. And like, you know, that I agree with the stability because it shows you what a good wrestler Justin Flash is.
Yeah.
There's a reason a that a bona fide legend like the Barbarian, in the back was talking about how he's watched Justin Flash throughout his career and has enjoyed watching him and thinks that he's an amazing wrestler. I mean, there's a reason that legend is is talking about how good Justin Flash is. Somebody who has been there and knows what he's talking about. There's a reason that guy can hold on to that belt for as long as he has.
And let's face
And,
it, guys, if you're wondering, like, well, if Justin Flash is so good, why isn't he in the WWE or AEW? Because unlike people like Adam Page, Justin Flash started a family at a younger age. I mean, and he was always more inclined. He liked to play softball at home. When he got tired of wrestling, he went to softball for a while, and then for many years actually, and then decided to get back into wrestling. And so he's really good, man. I mean, he could, if he'd have taken a different path, and I know he doesn't have any regrets. I mean, he's married to his wife's just one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life. He's got two kids that are just great. I mean, he's a family man. He's a homebody. I don't think Justin Flash is the kind of guy that would do well on the road. I think he'd be
right.
home. And so, he came. Adam Page came up about the same time he did. You see him in AEW. He's making a great living for his family. You know, uh, despite what you think of him there or whatever, Adam Page was always nice to me. I only worked on a few shows with him. Let's see who else. Wheeler Yuta's up there. Nice guy, but his sacrificed a lot for the wrestling business. I
Mhm.
mean, to get to that level, you really have to do a lot. And of course, my favorite of all these people, my favorite of all these people, Andre Chase, who is still in NXT because I saw him in the background even though Chase U has been obliterated and is no longer in existence. He was on TV in the background in the locker room looking very disheveled, sitting in a corner. So he's still there. Bless your heart, dude. I hope they figure something out then, and he's able to get going again. Because Andre Chase is just even though he swears and he's kind of edgy on TV, is actually a sweetheart of a guy. So, and he
Yeah,
is really
yeah,
sacrificed.
him and his brother were both very respectful. Like, hello, sir.
Oh my God, they would
call you
ma'am, and I'd like, please. I am not. Oh, I am not that old at the time to be referred to as ma'am. But yeah, they were really respectful. They were one of those people who just did exactly what they should do.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? I don't mean like being compliant. I mean like they spent their time on the indies and they honed their craft. They moved to Japan, honed their craft there, came back and worked in Ring of Honor, and stuff. And I know his brother took a different path, not one much different from wrestling. When you think about it, really politics.
Yeah.
But so it's nice to see that one of them really made a difference, and
Yeah.
it's great.
Yeah, and for the political one, yeah, he won't listen to me anyway because last few times I ran into Andre Chase's brother, he kind of turned his nose down at me. I don't know why. His brother's like, "Hey man, how you doing?" So that show we went to in Spartanburg back in 2016, where Cornette wrestled Baby Doll in the Battle of the Sexes. Uh, Andre Chase he wasn't wrestling on the show, but he was there helping. He was doing ring crew type stuff. And after the show was over with, I yelled down at him. I yelled his shoot name to him. And we're running up like old friends. But the other one, the politician one, no, not so much. But yeah, I'd wish him good luck in his politics. I'm just like, dude, slow down, stop running for state offices. You're not experienced enough to do that, and you can do more good at the local level, at the municipal level, to help out Eden, the whole area where you're at. So, I would just advise him not to get in a big hurry, man. State politics ain't all it's cracked up to be. It takes a certain breed to be able to do that. And I would ask that you never go to the federal level. Oh, goodness sakes. Talk about not being able to get anything done. They told us when we visited the U.S. Capitol. Now, this is a guy who worked for Senator Tillis. He said the last great Congress of compromise ended in 1835. And I said, so basically you're telling me they hadn't done jack shit since then. And he looked at me and he goes, nope, not much. And that is from Senator Tillis's employee.
Well, except the fact they got rid of slavery and they let women vote. And those are two pretty big damn things since whatever 1863.
Well, he's speaking in day-to-day governing, because like if you just show up to the Capitol and take a tour and they take you in the halls of Congress, most of the time there's like a couple of congressmen maybe sitting at desks working. There's somebody sitting at the podium and they're basically talking to their interns. Yes, there's been major. I'm not trying to imply that no major legislation has ever happened, but in day-to-day governing, if you go to the Capitol, don't be surprised to see the halls of Congress with barely anybody in there and they're not doing anything. That's. It was taught to me that day that it's the nature of the federal government to let things play out on their own and only interfere when need be. So sort of like Rick Diesel at AIWF Mid-Atlantic. It's better if they don't get involved. So, but anyway, so let's see here. Let me talk about, since we reminisced about all the people that came through here and are now famous. Let's talk about the most famous food truck in wrestling, the best concessions in wrestling. Prove me wrong when I tell you that T's Treats is just the best ever. And best concessions in wrestling. And, Big D's food truck is good, but here's the original. T's Treats Look at that corn dog covered in mustard and chili. That's probably cheese and chili, I would say. It looks like
That yeah. And speaking of Justin Flash, I believe he was a huge fan of her corn dogs.
oh,
So
Justin Flash has always had a soft spot for corn dogs. Anybody that's known him for years knows that. And then these what do you call these things? Funnel cakes. God, where it is happening? I'm having memory issues now too. Funnel cakes, teas, treats, man. I mean, they're not kidding you. They can get you diabetes one time eating their food. I mean, it's so good. It is everything you love about sugar and none of the concerns about the health problems that may follow. Teas treats is absolutely delicious. So when you see them, it is a treat. And you don't want to eat this stuff every day by any stretch of the imagination because it ain't made to be healthy, my friends. It's made to taste good. And buddy, it is. From their shakes to their hot dogs, sandwiches. I don't know about any new new items lately because it is wintertime. So I don't think they might be experimenting with what they're going to start up with the menu. But yeah, that's T's Treats. And of course, our friends up in the Lynchburg area in Virginia at Secondhand Heroes. I've got some new copy for this that I got sent by a certain member of, well, the guy that owns a joint, if I can just find it. He said he had Chat GPT write the first one. So that's why it was so long-winded. But I got to find it. Hang on a second. As you can see, it's a comic shop. Comic shop, collectibles. You know, it was like if the comic shop and the Big Bang Theory were real. This is it. But this is actually better because they have video games that you can play in there. So yeah, you definitely need to check it out if you're in the Lynchburg area. And let me see if I got that copy.
everybody.
I think you all can do. Come game with us. Okay, here we go. Secondhand Heroes and Home for Wayward Villains. Oh man, this looks like Chat GPT now. You know what? I'm gonna make up my own damn copy. How about that? Secondhand, I'll just use my notes. Secondhand Heroes is a comic shop and gaming store that features collectible toys, retro gaming, old time console games, free to play arcade cabinets, all that great stuff. They host Dungeons and Dragons tournaments several times a week, or campaigns, I guess is what they call them, campaigns in D&D. I don't know. I never got into D&D, but I knew a lot of guys that liked it. You know, just it seemed like girl repellent to me when I was a kid, and I had enough trouble scoring with chicks as it were in those days. So I didn't think D&D would strategically was a smart thing for me to get into. Nonetheless, they are located at 18184 Leesville Road in Evington, Virginia. They are your one-stop shop to get your nerd on. They're open 7 days a week at 11 a.m. They don't close until the dice stop rolling. They got table space for your Magic the Gathering, D&D, or any other tabletop game. You can even bring your own tabletop game and host your game night with them. If you wanted to come in there and do a Shoots and Ladders tournament, they'd probably let you. You just need to reach out to them at 434-317-0121. That's 434-317-0121. You can reach out to them at secondhandheroesva@gmail.com. Now, that second, don't spell it out. SECOND. Nuh-uh. Do the abbreviation 2ND, right? 2ND, handheroesva@gmail.com. But the easiest way to do it is just call them. 434-317-0121. And you can see they got the table space. They got a refrigerator there with refreshments in it, in the arcade cabinets and all that kind of stuff. We keep talking about making a field trip up to Lynchburg, but I've been having to go to Virginia so much lately. I ain't going on. I probably ain't going on a pleasure trip up there for a good long while after I get everything settled. But anyway, check them out. As you can see, there's a couple of the belt trophies they had for their Street Fighter tournament, and I can't tell what that tag team belt was for. Maybe that's just a collectible item they have.
Yeah, that's a world. That looks like a world tag team title.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't tell.
AWA.
yeah, AWA. Look at that.
Yeah.
about that? We've had these pictures for weeks now, and then just now noticing that. So maybe we've all got some brain damage. I know I was a pretty heavy partier and quite the marijuana enthusiast in my 20s, so there's just definitely some memory issues. Their Monday night D&D group has been going on for like 2 years now. So, they're not playing around up there, guys. I mean, if you want to go get your game on, your nerd on, you need to check them out. Secondhand Heroes and Home for Wayward Villains at 18184 Leesville Road in Evington, Virginia. Call them 434-317-0121 if you're in Virginia in the Lynchburg area or anywhere around the Roanoke Lynchburg television market. You're within driving distance. Danville, it's just right up 29. I mean, so it's getting on close to 2 o'clock, and I don't want to. I'm not competing with the NFL. Just ain't gonna do it. And that'll be if we do a show next week, we'll probably come to you early like that. But I'm interested in something. And yeah, Reagan, I've been looking on the internet while we've been talking too. I can't find out any reliable source that can tell what's going to happen with the AEW pay-per-views.
And I can't either.
If they will stream them on Max at no additional charge, I think they'll get a lot more eyeballs on the product. Is that what you want to do? I think so, because their TV deal, they're getting like $3.3 million a month now. For their TV deal, their renewal with Max. So and Turner. So I would think that content is the key right here.
Yeah, you would think so.
I mean, maybe if they didn't want to do it for, how ESPN Plus will have like UFC fights, and then you pay a little bit.
No, you don't pay a little bit. You pay $75.
Yeah, that is true.
In addition to what your monthly fee is.
Yeah, that's
I don't
true.
think. Yeah, but see, they're not the UFC, and so I don't think the UFC model works for the UFC.
Yeah,
this is not that. The UFC model does not work for WWE, even though they're owned by the same parent company. AEW needs to find their model. And I think that WWE has proven getting more eyeballs on the product makes it more profitable. And I'm greedy and I'm cheap. And I bought that one Sting pay-per-view from them. But if they stick with $50
price. Oh, sorry.
$50. So
50.
Yeah, so and it's reasonable and they're long. So you do get your money's worth, more than your money's worth, sometimes too much. They're like 4 hours, and the pre-show is an hour and a half, every one of them. So it's just, I give Tony credit where it's due, man. He's trying to give you as much value for that $50 as he can. I got to give him credit for that. And I do appreciate value. But I think it'd be better, just in my humble opinion, and what do I know? I'm just some asshole, with a Zoom account and the ability to stream. But yeah, I think it'd be best if he put it on Max and just let people watch it to get eyeballs on it, unless he's afraid too many people will see it and make fun of it. But who cares?
The are really good usually.
Who's putting $3.3 million in his pocket every month? Who's laughing now? So if that number's to be believed, and I've heard it pretty consistently across the board, so I think that's about right. And you can Google check me if you want to. But I just think it's like Cornette said when the WWE went to the streaming and stopped charging for pay-per-view, it was going to hurt their business. And it's done anything but. And he's even recanted that and said, hey, I was wrong. I thought it was dumb to close up the DVD department. But kill your DVD sales and make everything available for streaming. But it hadn't. They've grown by leaps and bounds since the launch of the network in 2014. So what do you guys think?
I agree. Like I think you're right. What he needs right now is to have eyes on the product, and more likely than not, those pay-per-views are pretty good. Like, people are usually very positive about their pay-per-views. And so, if he's making that much money from it, why not? But again, he doesn't make good decisions.
Well, and you have to think too, how many people are how many people does that keep away from the weekly show if they're like, well, I can watch the wrestling, I can watch the build up to the pay-per-view, but I'm not going to buy the pay-per-view. So why should I watch the TV show and not see the resolution?
Mm-hmm.
It's like if I could, if you had people, it's like, oh, a free pay-per-view, why not check it out? And then if they like it, then they'll start watching the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, get eyes on the product. But again, not only do you get eyes on the product, you may be, it may be a deterrent for people to watch the weekly show if they're not going to get to see the match that's the resolution at the pay-per-view.
Yeah. And doesn't it hurt you? Do you think it hurts the pay-per-view buys? I do. Because my thinking is anytime I've thought about ordering an AEW pay-per-view, it's always been quick, except for the Sting one, which I did get. In my mind crushes it immediately because I am so cheap. Like, why would you pay for this second-rate wrestling $50 for pay-per-view when you can watch the WWE pay-per-views with your plan you've already got with Peacock?
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
I think the wrestling fans are spoiled with that. Like you're like, oh, okay, I'm not having to pay $50 anymore to watch WrestleMania. Or WrestleMania was always more than 50, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
yeah, I'd say so because the WrestleMania 3 in 1987 was $39.95, and that was unprecedented at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So and it's just
and also it's not like it used to be back in the day when, because I remember you would one person would get the pay-per-view and you would invite like at least 5 other people over and they would chip in $10.
Yeah.
But how many people do that anymore? Nobody gets together and watches the pay-per-view anymore. Everybody watches them separately at their house.
Yep. And they did like here when we first moved here, we would go to B-Dubs and watch the UFC. And they were also a WWE Blast Zone before the network came out, which meant they showed the pay-per-views in there too, and so people were going to bar. I mean, we would go to those UFCs sometimes, man, and B-Dubs would be slammed, and they tell you when you came in the door, man, we ain't gonna be able to get you a table till midnight. That's all right. We'll sit at the bar, because there were tables at the bar, and when people got up from tables at the bar, you just waited until somebody moved and then you grabbed their seat, and those were jammed. But you're right, Brian. I don't think since the pay-per-view do people even do that. I know UFC still has a, list on their website of UFC bars, but I wonder if that's even as popular now as it was 10 years ago, just like 20 years ago, everybody going in on a pay-per-view. Is anybody doing that? I don't.
No, I don't think so.
And we don't even stay up that late anymore.
We used to go to Bad Brad's for WrestleMania for a few years in a row. So, but that's been 10 years. So I don't know. I think it's just a different world right now for pay-per-views. I mean, I don't keep up with their, what do you call it, a buy rate? Is that what it's called, Matt?
Yeah. I don't know how to read those statistics, so
that's what I was saying. I don't know how that works. I don't know how to get them. I don't understand the information and stuff, but I don't know if they're pay-per-views. I just don't know, like if they're profitable, if they're sustainable, whatever it is. I don't know that much about their pay-per-views because I'm not spending $50 on their pay-per-view. I'll watch clips of the matches somewhere else.
Yeah, but if you could stream it on Max, would you watch it?
I would definitely watch it. And that's why it's so much easier now for me to watch wrestling, because it's on streamers that I can watch during the time I don't have anything to watch.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
Yep. Hey, I do it too. I wait till Tuesday to watch Raw. I usually watch SmackDown sometime over the weekend. Football playoffs are interfering with that this week. So I still don't know who won between Bayley and Tiffany Stratton, but I have a good idea. But still, SmackDown's 3 hours. Oh God.
I just can't. That's the other thing. It's like, I cannot sit down for 3 hours live.
No. I love Joe Tessitore. I love the sound of his voice, and because he's a football guy, when a football guy comes into wrestling, same with Pat McAfee, I get really pumped up, man, because yeah, I've had a love affair with the NFL since I was a little kid. Some of my earliest memories are going and watching the Super Bowl at my uncle's houses with my dad. And so when football people come into wrestling, it makes me happy. One of my first wrestlers that I ever thought was really cool was Wahoo McDaniel. He played in the NFL, so I mean, there's that connection, man. So when football people cross over into wrestling, that's awesome. Go ahead, Reagan. I'm
Well,
sorry.
I was going to say Corey Graves doesn't think that. Did you see that he got in trouble?
For
He
that
put out,
tweet,
yes,
yeah,
and he was very unhappy about what he thought was a demotion to NXT, which I found interesting. And I think they pulled him from that NXT show.
yeah, they did. There was
Um,
pictures of him at an airport going home Tuesday morning, and so yeah. I don't
I,
know, man.
I was not.
Maybe there's a WrestleMania match in the works here between him and Pat McAfee. I don't know. That would be
Oh my
awesome.
gosh. I
That would
think
be
Pat
awesome.
McAfee could take him.
I don't know, man. Corey Graves was pretty good when he wrestled. I mean, remember Corey Graves stopped wrestling because he got a real bad neck injury.
Neck injury, yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna tell you what, when NXT first started up on the network, it was right before he got hurt. Let me tell you what, Corey Graves pissed me off immediately upon first sight and hearing his voice. He was a master heel. I mean, he was so easy to hate. And like when he got hurt, my initial reaction when I read that he got hurt was good. Fuck him. And then I thought, wait a minute, easy, Matt. you know, he's not that big an asshole in real life. But I'm telling you, if you go back and watch some of those 2014 NXTs that he's on there, you'll hate him too. And so when he became such a good, accomplished announcer and would talk about how he looked up to Jesse the Body Ventura and Bobby the Brain Heenan, I was just like, oh, this is going to be wonderful. And I thought he was a great announcer. I really did.
TikTok's back.
It's back.
Yep. Welcome back.
That didn't last long.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about who they say did it, even though he's not in office yet or whatever. It's back apparently.
Well, I can only scroll and see this girl, this 14-year-old girl, and then this baby. Maybe I mean
it just hasn't hit you yet, but yeah, ours is it's back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens with that.
Well,
there we go.
I only had 48 followers, so then
I don't have any followers. I like to look at Dollar Tree finds, Amazon finds, TJ Maxx finds. So, every once in a while I'll stumble down the Mandela effect and the timeline switch stuff, but I try to keep mine pretty loose. So anyway, that's interesting today.
There
we go. History. We were there for the history making. It's not there too. Now it's there.
Well,
we
that's
can mark
great.
us as the only place that live said it's on.
TikTok is back. Hey,
hey,
for at least 90 days.
So let's talk. And I don't want to get to the political end of this, but tomorrow is the inauguration as we record this. It's first one since 1985, second Reagan inauguration, that it's had to be done indoors in the rotunda because of the weather. And let me just say this: I don't care how what side of the political spectrum you fall on. If you were planning on going to DC for this, I'm sorry, the weather is not cooperating, because DC is a hell of a lot of fun. I can imagine that it's even better with that many people there for the same reason, and yeah, I feel bad. I was telling Jakey, I feel bad for those people, but it's a smart thing to move it indoors. They'll have it on big screens outside the Capitol, but it's going to be fucking cold. So if you go up there, bundle up, man, it's going to be rough. And I'm telling you, the Potomac River is very close to the Capitol, and you will know it when you're up there. I mean, have you guys ever been up there?
I did. I went to Clinton's inauguration.
Oh, so you've been to one. So you can attest to how much fun.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It is just so much going on, and I guess they still do the parade. When I went, they did like a parade down the road, and you stood there, and then there were like all these just people, and there were famous people, and just it was when well, obviously if it was Clinton's first inauguration, that was a long time ago, but it was really fun. It was just to be there in that atmosphere is just very, very. It was fun, and
Yeah.
so um, and then
D-
there's so much free stuff to do there that's also fantastic.
yes.
So
If you've never been, guys, on the National Mall, the Park Service runs everything on the National Mall. So all those museums free. Now they ask that you give a donation. There's a box, but you don't have to. But those are part of your taxes that you pay every year. So you can go up there, and Washington D.C. is not a reflection of who we are as a nation, but I think more so a what we wish we could be. And so I would encourage anybody to go up there. It's a hell of a lot of fun. Just go in the don't go in the middle of the summer because it gets really warm up there, but don't go in the dead of winter either. Spring
you
and
should go
fall.
when the I've been twice. We went in elementary forever ago, but we went when the cherry blossoms were blooming,
I've
and
heard that's great, but it's got to
oh
be
my,
damn near impossible to get a hotel room.
it was beautiful. I guess maybe because we were school, it had already been planned and stuff,
Hmm.
like but it was beautiful. So
Yeah, you know how we got all those cherry trees up there? You know,
I
who
probably do, but I don't remember.
a gift from the
Refresh.
Japanese
Yeah,
after we nuked them, and
yeah, okay. That's what I thought, but then I was like, maybe I'm wrong.
yeah,
Uh,
that every time I see a cherry tree, especially one blossoming, I think of uh probably never want to go to war with those people ever again. That was rough.
mm,
And so yeah, but hey, it was great for professional wrestling in both countries because I always tell Jinky this all the time. I was like, after the war ended, we made peace, started rebuilding. The wrestling company started opening up in the 50s, and you instantly had heels. You had bad guys in Japan because anytime an American come over, instant bad guy. Those are the bastards you
yes.
discuss. Anytime the Japanese would come over to the U.S., bastard, those are the guys that attacked Pearl Harbor. I mean, it was great for the wrestling business, and it was great for Hollywood too. How many World War II movies have there been made, and shows and all that kind of stuff. So
Mm.
I'd say both countries made the best out of a bad situation. So, but yeah, and lovely cherry blossoms. I'd love to go up there for that now. Oh, when does that happen? March, April?
I don't know. It's either March or I think it may be March, but I could be wrong. Let's see. Cherry blossoms, DC. Look how easy it is to look stuff up. Um, I don't know. I have to look. Spring. It just says spring.
Yeah, so
Spring.
well, we can't really predict when the trees are going to bloom. You can just the Park
Hmm.
Service can probably give you an educated guess, sort
Yeah.
of like they do. You know how Appalachian State has that thing on their website where they track the leaves every fall,
Yeah.
and predict it. So
It says end of March to the beginning of April, and it varies based on the weather. But it was beautiful. We went. It was beautiful. So,
was it crowded though? Do you remember?
yeah.
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 Well, I
From
don't.
what I remember, that's a million years ago. But
Yeah. Well, I've been more recently than that. I was up there in 17 or 18. Wait a minute. Obama was still in office. When did Obama left office in 17? All right, so we were up there in I guess 15 or 16, and I don't know if he's still there because it's been a long time. But there was I don't know if he's Chinese or he's some Asian descent that had a hot dog cart near the Natural History Museum. And if you see that little fellow with his little hot dog cart there, stop and have lunch because I'm telling you that those are some good street hot dogs. They really were. I mean, like I really felt like I was in the big city when I got a hot dog from him and sat down there on the wall uh, and ate it. And that was yeah, it was really good. It was so cold that day. And man, that it was the hot dog it's so cold that day. You know how your hands when they get really cold, if you put something
uh-huh.
there, they hurt. it hurt to hold on to that hot dog, and it almost hurt to bite into it, but it was
Yeah.
so good. But anyway, enough about our adventures to DC. We're all out of topics on wrestling unless you guys have got anything else you want to
Mm-mm.
add.
No.
No.
We'll see what happens on Raw this week. We've got Reagan finally back to watching weekly modern wrestling, which I think is a colossal task that should not be underestimated in any way. But we got to help her understand that Raw week to week is not going to be like it was that first night on Netflix, not like a PLE. What you saw this past week is pretty much it.
Okay, I'll try to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, they kind of move things along at a slow pace. Triple H has said before he's a slow burn guy, but by the time Saturday night's main event rolls around in a few weeks, you're going to be chomping at the bit, and the Royal Rumble's a week after that. So there's going to be some good cards coming down the line here.
Yeah, I do like the Rumble.
Yeah, I do too. I watched the 2009 Rumble the other night, and one Randy Orton won. So one of the ones he won. So that was a good time. And the main event was back when they had the world title and the WWE title. It was John Cena and Bradshaw was for the world title, and they had a
Wow.
hell of a match. I forgot how good their matches were, and that was 5 years after John Cena, or 4 years after John Cena won the title for the first time at WrestleMania, and you could just start hearing the "Let's go Cena, Cena sucks." Let's
Uh-huh.
go. It was starting then, so that was kind of cool. It was a walk down memory lane. So I was like, wow, they were hating on John Cena early into his run. Now they love him, So
Yeah.
yeah, but it's like everybody predicted online. The minute he retires, he'll become this beloved figure, and
Mhm.
everybody will forget how the internet just trashed him. 5 moves of doom and all that shit. All right, folks, we're gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go watch some football. Reagan's gonna watch some AEW, bless her heart, and and uh and you know I don't know. We'll probably see you next week at an earlier time so as to not conflict with football if everybody can make those arrangements. And I guess that's it. And until next time, so long for now.